Hello everyone. Welcome to another Growth Chat by Bill Bodo. Today we have Vineet Khare from Edom House of Brands. He leads all kinds of CRM and data-driven communications for Bella Vita and other brands under Edom House of Brands. Edom House of Brands is a conglomerate which deals and which manages multiple D2C brands for skincare brands, and they promise organic products. And I will like to get to know more about Vineet and Bella Vita from Vineet himself. Hey Vineet, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Akibud. It's a great pleasure. Thank you for calling me here. I'm really excited for today's session.
Yeah, we are also excited to learn a lot of experiments, a lot of learnings that you have done, and how you made grew Beloved in such a short time. So, to start with the conversation, Vinith, we will start with a quick intro and how you got into marketing. Uh, so that will be very interesting for us to know.
Okay, so I come from a tech background, and so marketing is something which was always with me since I was a kid. So if I talk about that, I remember me and my brother, when we were in school, we used to have these conversations like, this how amazing this Coca-Cola ad is, and how amazing this Pepsi ad is, and then Coca-Cola's ad versus Pepsi के ad की rivalry, and then we're going to talk about, let's say, Audi का billboard में how amazing these guys have played with the content. So this was
Hmm.
something which was there while growing up, and
Hmm.
so I did an internship with one of the digital agencies in last year of my college, and that is
Hmm.
when I realized that digital marketing is something which has tech and which has a mix of marketing. It's a tech and marketing mix, and this is something
Hmm.
which excites me a lot. So that is why I decided to start my career in digital marketing, and I joined the same company. And email marketing is something which I started my career with.
Hmm.
Worked with brands like Shoppers Stop, Fashion, other e-commerces in India. Worked with the organized for scaling their email
Hmm.
marketing, for scaling their customer experience, digital customer experience.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, and then Google, Facebook, affiliates, and other digital channels that came, let's say, a year after in my career, and I've learned a lot, and all the experience learning so far, the entire digital channels has been amazing.
Yeah, that has been a long, interesting journey, and especially when now D2C brands are growing very fast, your skill sets have become very important. Uh, t- Tell us, like, how one D2C brand which is starting right now, what they should be thinking about, or how they should be planning their email strategy.
Akibu, can you repeat that question? I lost you there.
Yeah, so really sorry. I mentioned Vinit, like, can you tell us if a brand, if a D2C brand is starting now, what should be their email strategy? How should they plan it out? What should they be thinking about?
I think there's a network issue here, some network issue.
Can you can you hear me now, Vinit? I think we have lost Vinit for some time here. Vinit, are you there?
Okay. Yes, yes,
Can
yes.
you hear me now?
There was some network issue. I rejoined. Yeah.
Okay, no problem in it. Glad that you are back here. So, yeah. So my last question was, Vinit, like you have already done a lot of things in the D2C marketing. So suppose a new company is being established, a new brand is being built. What all should they do, or how should they think about email marketing?
Okay. So my learning so far, and this is what I personally believe, that every new brand, they have to stick to the basics. Like they have to start. Let's say the first step should be the first step should be getting the DNS record configured. That's one. If I specifically talk about your DKIM records, then get the postmaster. Now the reason why I'm saying this is that Indian market specifically contributes to 85% of the Gmail users. Out
Yeah.
of like everyone who uses email, 80% of 85% of the people use Gmail as a platform. Now, for if that is the case scenario, then as a marketer, we need to understand that how Gmail thinks, how Gmail responds to my communication, my emails is very important. So getting Postmaster set up for your brand, that has to be priority. Again, checking Postmaster time to time that what all emails are going to spam, or what all how much percentage of people are marking you as spam, and creating your next strategy according to that. Now, that's been said. I think Postmaster DNS records are very important. Third is your warm up. So now this is what I've seen with a lot of people. What they do is they try to alter the warm up once they start getting good open rates. That, and this is again my learning so far, and I personally recommend not to do that. Let's say I have to reach to somewhere around, let's say, 2 lakh emails sent a day if I have a good big database, right? Now to reach out to that 2 lakh emails sent a day, I have to create a warm up plan that slowly and gradually increase by a certain percentage.
Yeah.
Now, why I'm saying this, for a genuine brand to send email communication to their users, and for spammers sending communication to everyone, Gmail has to know that what we are doing is as per the best practices shared by Gmail. Now there's scan spam rule. There are so many other documentation out there which Gmail has shared, Google has shared with us, and as a marketer, I think that should be the Bible of, let's say, before doing any activity, we should have that followed on the basic level. So yeah, so I've seen this. I've also scaled the volumes to a good percentage while following the while following your warm up plan very strictly. So if you want to increase your warm up plan, if you want to increase the number of emails, you should do it in a certain percentage. Uh, for example, when I was warming up my email, and this is not with either mouse or brand, this is one of the previous brands I was handling. So there was, and this was 3.5 years back. So the same scenario happened with me also, that while I was having a 40-45% open rate on 70,000 percent, I thought that everything is fixed now, and that is how I altered the plan to 45% increase in daily send, which impacted my domain and the IP in the long term. Now, so I've, and this is the rule from then in my practices, that I don't alter. So first of all, we need to create the plan in a very smarter way, where we know what is the end number which you have to reach. Now, once we create that plan, you start sending the emails according to that only. So every new brand which starts email marketing, which starts growing email marketing, they need to have patience with the IP, with the domain. They need to scale all these in a manner. Having said that, there's another, again, so this is as per my experience. What I normally do is I keep the transactional IP domain and your promotional IP domain same. Like most of the marketers don't follow that, but again, my learning so far has been, it has worked for me. The reason it has worked for me, what I think is that because my transactional domain was same, my transactional flows was aligned in a manner where everything is aligned as per the user behavior on the website or on the mobile application, with the more contextual approach towards the creative. Now, once you have that aligned, your engagement increases. Now, if you mix it up with the promotional email, now promotional email segmentation is very important. You just can't put any segment from the database and start sending it. Any random database won't work. So when you start doing that, I've seen overall engagement increases, which improves your domain score, which eventually improves your IP score. So any new email company with brands who are starting from let's say zero, so I would suggest this has worked for me past 7 years, and I recommend to have this practice as one of their
So
sending practices.
yeah, that's very interesting. That I have also noticed. Like many of the brands, they start sending a lot of emails at once. So the recommendation here is that have patience, start slowly, and keep your
Yes,
all your infra in place. Like all your DKIM and other
correct.
authentication should be in place correctly. So
Yes,
when
yes.
once let's say somebody has done this and has started, the other challenge when they scale is like, hey, how do I scale further? Like I know that you send like millions of emails every month, and at that point, it becomes very difficult to get the best ROI from email. So, can you tell us more from a more established brand point of view? What should we be doing when we scale?
Okay, that's an interesting question. So it totally depends on what the brand wants from the email channel, from the email activity. Whether they want to do the entire email activity for, let's say, revenue, it is a revenue driven channel for them, or it is a branding channel for them. So there, so I've seen this. There are brands, big e-commerces in India who use email marketing as a branding channel, and then there are companies, there are startups who have become now big and they use it for only revenue driving channel. So I would prefer a mix in this, and I would suggest a mix where you use it for both the purposes. And
Got it.
how that can be possible is that segmentation again. So the entire database has to be segmented in a manner where divide the entire database into frequencies first. Divide the base into, let's say, your customer buying recency or customer buying frequency. Have that cohorts in place, and then decide that what would be the email frequency I should use. I have seen big brands like some of the big e-commerces in India. Also, Flipkart does that a lot, where they have merged their emails with social media activity. So they frequently, and this is like I think recently. So they sent an email to their users saying, ki, put the hashtag something something related to Flipkart, and you can win this and that. And there was Flipkart trending in my area, that pin code, right? So this is a good activity where this is a take on from these big brands, and this is something which I've also experimented, and also we both would be doing it with Bella Vita Organic as per the discussion with the quizzes which we are planning, with the wheel wala thing which we spoke about. So this is there are so many activities. See, the idea is very simple, that you don't want your audience to get bored, and you don't want to spam your audience with a lot of emails. So keeping that thing in mind, I think they can do it on both the manners. So okay, so let me give you an example of Bella Vita Organic. We use email channel as a mix. We use it to send. Let's say, brand related campaigns, and the higher frequency is of revenue generating campaigns. Now, today only we sent a campaign. So we got our entire website revamped. It's Bella Vita Organic 2.0. And we sent a communication to all of our, the planning is to send it to all of our users. We started sending today and telling them about that we have changed the new website, the new look and feel and everything got revamped. So this is a branding activity from the brand side. Uh, Before that, every sale communication that goes out, let's say 4 times in a month, that is a revenue generating activity. Apart from that, introducing new, let's say, okay, so this is something which we've experimented in Bella Vita Organic, that so there are few products jinka buying frequency is more, and there are products there are products जिनके landing page पे there is less traffic as compared to other hero products. So what we did with email is that we started sending those products to people, and we have seen let's say 27-28% increase in unit sales from that particular and this is repeat I'm talking about 3 months ka repeat I'm talking about. We've seen a
That's really
28% increase in number of unit sales. So again, the reason why I mentioned 3 months and the reason why we did this 3 month of activity is, again, as I said, you can't if you're looking at a 1 day sent number पे कितना effect आया है, that would be a false number to look at. Your email is something, and other channels as well, like talk about push notifications, talk about SMS. So email, I think, is something that creates a long-term impact for your brand and also creates an impact inside customers' head. So yeah, I think established brands should opt in for a mix in like any case.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting point, Vidit. And like you were mentioning that you can't see the results in 1 day, and you need to give some time. So, as a D2C brand, what are the metrics that we should see from email or other communication channels beside the revenue? So, I know that revenue is the end goal from a D2C brand, but in between, what are the intermediary metrics?
Again, depends on the campaign objective, but okay, so increase in open rates is one. Increase in open rates in one campaign activity, you can have it with clickbait subject lines also, but that is not gonna have a long term impact. So if you're gonna see the matrix from let's say 1.5 months ka data, if your email campaigns are on a verge of growing, how do you calculate that? I think consistent email open rates, I would say, if they're not growing, okay, there might be 10 different things. Click rate should be increasing. That's one. Second, session dropout should decrease. So now clicks and session dropout, we did. So this is what we measured our matrix on that. We every A/B test we did, every experiment we did, we checked the entire number. Okay, revenue is one. That is obviously we're measuring it on every other revenue objective campaign which we are sending. But apart from that, we are also seeing that how many, what is the session rate that is currently going on, and what is the session rate of the campaign. So, what is the delta of we sending this campaign versus we not sending this campaign or sending a regular campaign apart from that. So that delta is very important. That percentage growth in sessions are very important. That's one. Second, how many, what is the customer dropout rate when they land from email to the website? So if that dropout rate, my revenue is dependent on average order value. So for example, if I'm selling, so we have gift boxes, a lot of gift boxes that ranges from 999 to 1499, right? So those are, you can buy any 4 products from Bella Vita Organic and take it at just 999. It can be of any value, right? So whenever we send this, our AOV increases, and hence our revenue increases from the email campaign. But whenever we send, let's say, one of our best-selling products, exfoliate, or one of the new products which we have landed is 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 serum, that has a lower price as compared to a triple nine. Now,
Hmm.
if you look at the revenue growth, it would definitely have a lower number. But if you look at the CVRs, which
Hmm.
is minus the dropouts, so that has to increase over the period of time. So I think looking for email marketing, looking at these numbers would be a right trend setter for your company while creating a, let's say, quarterly
Hmm.
plan or a yearly plan for emails.
Yeah, so what you mean to say is basically revenue is a lagging metric, but there are a lot of leading metrics like change in open rate, change in click rate, change in session
Correct.
rates, etc.
Correct. Correct.
Vinay, you have done a lot, you do a lot of data driven experiments, right? And over the time, I personally have seen that these all these numbers have been increasing for your brand. So, can you tell us and our audience some experiments that you did? Or some of the learnings that you might want to share with the audience
Sure. Sure. Sure.
to,
So
which
one of
help.
the, and this is the exciting part. Yeah, sure.
Hmm.
Saying something?
No, no.
Okay. So this is the exciting part where, so I would like to share some of, let's say, four top experiments which we did, and I can also
Hmm.
share one or two of the experiments that didn't work, so that it's a holistic view of total experiments we did.
Hmm.
Now, so we segmented our entire database, and again, so this is again which I would prefer as a practice, that I I try to reach out to the entire base and see how they react to my email communications. So there would be some percentage of people who would never react to your email communication, despite of sending them on, let's say, X time or Y time or Z time, right?
Hmm.
But there would be a percentage of people who are not responding, let's say, to your three or four emails or five emails, but they would, let's say, respond to your sixth email because you know कि उनको किस टोन में उनसे किस टोन में बात करनी है when you send out a communication, right? So
Hmm.
one of the experiments which we did is we segregated our entire user base into different segments, which is on their buying recency, and on their email open.
Hmm.
Now, having creating these many cohorts, set the number of, let's say I want to mix one cohort one with cohort two in a 10% of the overall, and then
Hmm.
have, like, let's say 10 different cohorts to reach out to.
Hmm.
Now, what we've seen, now having structured all this, what we have seen is, first, the open rate has almost increased by 70%. And this is something I think we celebrated also a lot with the team. The entire open rate increase, and this is over time. This was not my first communication send, and the magic happened, right? This was not the
Hmm.
case, and this has never been the case with email marketing. If you are
Hmm.
getting results in one day, कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. You have to basically see कि ये कल खराब हो सकता है. तो uh, so this was, I think, in we started seeing the growth in let's say 16 days, and the entire growth, as I said, the 80% uplift which we got was a month, 1.5 months ke baad we've reached that stage.
Hmm.
That's one on email open rate, and you won't believe the revenue coming from email has increased to 8x.
Oh my God.
So, so that was, and that has, and these are just not numbers. These are something that uh, the first, the when the numbers are increased, your targets and the benchmark has reached to a level where now everyone is expecting at least 8x, right? Then, so we have to match that on every experiment we do. We have to be, very careful. And this is where I want to say that here at Bella Vita Organic, all the people, the team, the management, everything, they support experimentation a lot. I mean, we
Hmm.
do A/B test and experimentation on almost everything, to
Hmm.
see how the users are reacting to which tone, if we're sending them in the morning, communication in the morning, let's say 9 in the morning or 9:15 in the morning, how difference does that make? Because that and surprisingly it creates a difference. 15 minute mein there's a good difference in your revenue, there's a good difference in your click rate. So we do a lot of experiment. So I think that was one segmentation, and we still keep on doing. We still have the same approach. As we grew, as our database grew in numbers every month, we segment the entire base again, refresh the base, and start targeting people as per those segmentations only.
Okay.
Can you hear me? I think there's some lag.
Yeah, I can hear you, and we can hear you. You go with the other experiments.
Okay. Okay. So okay, the other interesting experiment was one we did with your AMP feature. Now this is something, and the learning from that, I'll tell you, that is an amazing learning. I think it would people who are here would can take that as a good taken. So what we did was there's a set of customer in every database who, let's say, reacts to your email very less. So we segregated those customers who have reacted to my emails. Who have opened my last 5 emails, opened once my last 5 emails. So person who is reacting once when I'm sending him 5 different communications, right? So we took that cohort, and we designed an email template, and okay, before that I would like to add something here. So what we did also is, when we created these cohort, we also have we also segregated their order history. Now, top 7 products that these cohorts specially buy from us. So we created an email where we listed all those top 7 selling products, right? And we have given the option for these people to buy from inside the email.
Nice.
And what we have seen in that experiment is that again, it's a 15 days experiment we've started. The result is an average of 15 days. So before sending these people AMP emails, their especially for this cohort, their units which they buy was somewhere around, on an average, 1.4. So their basket size was 1.4, and after we did this experimentation, their basket size increased to 2.5. So that is a huge jump. Now, the conclusion from all this activity is that if you look at the entire hello, Akib, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah.
Okay. I thought another lag or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what the learning from this experiment was that just think. So you send an email to a customer, they click on it, they see the creative, they click on the creative, they go to the website, they browse and select product, they go to the product page, they add to cart, then they do a checkout, and then they have a product success. So this is a long process, right? And there are drop-offs in the processes. So with this EMP, with this experiment, what we did was we shortened down the entire process to, let's say, 3 or 4 steps only. Now, since 𝐴𝐿-MODO has this integrated with our Shopify account, what another good thing which happened was that the last page where the user has to fill in the details, which is by default when they shop from my website, is an autofill for them. But it is not an autofill in general emails, right? If you do it inside the email activity. But since it was the 𝐴𝐿-MODO was integrated with Shopify, there was pre-filled, all the address information and everything was pre-filled. So the time also reduced, right? Hence, the conversion rate increased, and hence the basket size. So this was the take on from that experiment which we did.
That's very
So
interesting, actually.
yeah, so this is, I
Yeah.
mean, we keep on doing these with other segments as well. I'll share those insights with you. There are a lot of
Hmm.
experiments which we have planned on different cohorts. So I'd like to
Hmm.
share it with and other people once we have that information as well. Uh, so apart from that, there's one other interesting experiment we did. I would like to share with you, which is okay. So normally on a daily send, what we do is we have our mobile app users, and then we have our web users, website users. Now, on and this is the daily practice which we do is that we exclude the mobile app users when we are sending communications to the uh, website users, right? Now, this is done to get more ROI, because I can reach out to these mobile users via push notifications, and there's no external cost to push notification. There's only one platform cost, right? And I can reach out in frequency to these people based on their behavior on the app. So the normal frequency was that we were not sending any email communication to the mobile app users. Now what we did is that we did a 5-6 days ka test, and where we sent the communication to all the mobile app users also.
Okay.
Now what we've seen is that the result for that was there was a 24.7% increase in revenue from the mobile app users. Now, when we were thinking how did this happen, was that if you see from a customer point of view, these brands, so there are so many brands that are present in the app, right? And these brands use push notifications as a channel very aggressively. So as a user, I might be subscribed to, let's say, 10 odd brands, 10, 15 odd brands, right? And just imagine the number of notifications I get every time. Correct, ma'am. Because so I can send the highest frequency I can send an email to a person is two, correct, or a SMS to a person is two. But push notifications I receive, Zomato की push notifications, so I receive like 6-7 on the daily basis.
Yeah.
Now Swiggy has also started and all of these. So this is why they're sending me more notifications, because I am so every day every other day I use Zomato, or let's say Domino's, or one of the health fitness app, right? So okay, can you just give me a minute? I'm really sorry. I'm just gonna plug in some power source. Just give me a second. Yes, I'm really sorry for this. Okay, so where was I? Okay, I was telling you about the email experiment which we did for our mobile app audience.
Yeah.
So I think the learning from that experiment was that because we try to reach out, and we keep doing this often now, uh, we try to reach out to users जिनको हम लोग normally reach out नहीं करते, through a different channel altogether, and that basically increased the engagement rate of those people from us. So yeah, so
So
I
these
think
are
that's very
actually so these are very interesting experiments, Vinith, and how you actually measure the end-to-end uplift in all in your numbers. That is really interesting that you that gives us a sense that you actually track these numbers. Like most of the email marketers or most of the CRM marketers I talk to, they just talk, hey, I sent to these emails to these many people and the open rate was this. They never talked about what was the uplift, what was the impact of the revenue over a period of 30 days or over a period of 3 months, etc. And that's very interesting to see from your conversation. Like everything that you do did, whether it is AMP email or whether it is push notification, etc., you actually know what was the impact, right?
So
So
that's how, I mean, that's the whole idea of doing experiments, if you see.
hmm,
And if you're doing experiments and then you're not tracking the real metrics, there's no fun in that. The fun
yeah,
is you measure every key elements related to that.
yeah,
So yeah, so I'll
yeah,
also share one of the experiments with you, but
hmm,
I think sometime later I'm gonna. There's
sure,
one more interesting experiment which I want to share with you, which is we increased our mobile app users through emails, and
okay,
this looks as one of the generic experiments which like every other company do, but we did it in a very different manner, and that
hmm,
resulted to a 26% ka revenue ka increase from the mobile app users.
hmm,
So what we did is that people who were not responding to us on emails, let's say the same segment which I talked about,
hmm,
people who respond once, if I'm sending them email 5 times, right? So we sent them an email saying that the communication was around that they've been granted a premium membership, which is
hmm,
our mobile application, where these people would get a lot of offers as compared to the website, and
hmm,
they've been selected as like among the million peoples.
hmm,
Few number has been selected amongst the the million people.
hmm,
Now the because of the content and everything, we've seen mobile install increase by 18%,
hmm,
18.7 to be exact, and a revenue increase of again 20 between 23 to 25% that was there.
hmm. That's also interesting. How you merge one channel with another channel. So it is also evident. Like when I talk to other founders and other marketers, they say they always think about email, push notification, SMS, WhatsApp as different channels, and you seem to mix them together. Can you tell us more about how other marketers can also think about a more integrated marketing strategy?
So I think the approach in the past 1.5 years have it's been like for every other marketer out there has changed a lot, because a lot of I talk about CRM specifically, and I'm going to talk about CRM channels because that is a vast universe in itself. If I talk
Hmm.
about CRM channels, you have emails, you have SMS, you have web push, you have app push, then you have RCS, which is Google ka messaging, one of
Hmm.
the platforms. Then you have true caller ke SMSs. Then you have like several other things to reach out to a user.
Hmm.
Now what brands have started doing is so if someone is not responding to, let's say, their email, they've started bombarding these people with other channels, sending them regular RCS messages, sending them a lot of emails which are landing in spam and all of these. So and this is something that I've been discussing this with a lot of people in the industry also, that there has to be a ecosystem where, let's say, email is sitting at the center,
Hmm.
because not push notifications. I'll tell you the reason why. Email is sitting at the center because if I talk about email contributes very less. If I exclude push notification, email contributes very less when it comes to my expense, right? and it has a good percentage of share when it comes to my revenue. So my ROI from emails is always higher. Now, why email has to be at the center? Because email is something which has no limit in terms of the information which you want to share to the user. Again, I'm not talking about I think there are so you can send almost everything now on email.
Yeah.
Delivering
Yeah.
it or not delivering it, that's a separate part. Those are again learnings and uh, do's and don'ts, right?
Yeah.
So so SMS again has a character limit to it, and RCS again has a character limit to it. Then you have push notification, again character limit to it. So that is why email has to be the center of the entire ecosystem. So this is again what I personally believe as a marketer. Once your email sits at the center, what would happen is your revenue starts moving up. Now, why I'm saying this is, let's imagine we're sending an email to 7 lakh people with a 7.5% conversion rate, right? And then on every send, you exclude the buyers or exclude the session coming to your website or the mobile app from the next communication send out if you're sending the communication to notify a user for a new product launch or a new activity or a sale is live. So once you start doing that, your entire budget to reach out to people would come down. Your sessions eventually would start increasing from send, and the percentage from send to session would start increasing, and ROAS would automatically get higher.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So before I ask my next question, I would like to ask the audience if they have any questions, please post in the comments, and we will be happy to take those questions as well. Yeah. So, Vinay, you mentioned earlier about AMP emails and how it benefited in uplifting your basket size, right? What are the new plans you have around AMP emails? How are you planning to use Mailmodo and AMP emails in future?
a lot of experiments, to be honest, a lot of experiment I've planned for this quarter, and which includes and how we're measuring it is also very interesting. So which includes let's say a lot of quiz activities which we're gonna have, which includes similar campaigns where a user can place the order from inside the email. People can check out if there's something in the cart. So cart abandonment can happen inside the email. Let's say I want to send out a royalty. So we also have a loyalty program. So let's say a consumer has 1,000 points in his account, and he can redeem those 1,000 points. Why not he can redeem it inside using those loyalty points inside the email? I mean, that is the kind of experiments which you want to do and see how people react to it. Apart from that, there's one more thing I would like to add here is that AMP emails, if we can have, let's say, and this is something which we were also discussing, is that if we can have something which increases the engagement rate, increases my engagement rate to, let's say, 2x, 3x, I would definitely want to have that, which includes the spin the wheel, which we were discussing, and then scratch card, and then two or three other different activities.
Yes. So your focus has been to increase the engagement from email, and AMP has been helping you there, which is
Yes,
things like
yes.
quizzes and
I mean,
spin the wheel.
मतलब वही होगा. If you look at this, every email cannot talk about key please buy, please buy, please buy. It cannot.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't bore my customer, and this is what I personally feel every marketer, every other brand should start doing this. That please do not bore your customers by sending them only promotional emails. Get more triggered emails installed. Get more flows in place. Get more flows in uh, which acts on the customer behavior. Get more content that is dynamically created, uh, on how these customers are reacting inside your mobile application and inside your websites.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah,
So,
that's
you were talking about engagement. You also talked about segmentation. One question that I generally get about the frequency of emails, especially and other along with other CRM channels, right? So, what is your point of view there? Like, how frequently we should send emails, and how should I integrate it with other CRM channels?
okay. That's an interesting question. So what again? So what I believe and what currently my practice is that this answer to what is the frequency to the emails comes from your database only, comes
Hmm.
from how your customer are responding to your emails and with a lot of experimentation. So for example, if I divide my entire base on customer buying recency, so there's a 0 to 30 ka base, which is the most active base from all the cohorts. Then there's 30 to 60, 60 to 90, 90 to 180. So let's assume we've divided the entire base into these segments. So this is based on their buying recency. Now, let's say my the current engagement rate of these people opening my email is 2.5. For example, let's take this hypothetical number 2.5, right? So I want to increase this 2.5 to 2.7.
Hmm.
That should be the entire objective.
Hmm.
If my let's say my 90 to 180 वाला जो cohort है उसका engagement rate or people responding to my email on an average is somewhere around let's say 0.7 or 0.8.
Hmm.
The objective should be to make it to 1.2, 1.3. That's it. So if someone
Hmm.
is opening my email, let's say two times in a month, I want to
Hmm.
increase it to three times. That's it. Not to take it further. So currently how we are sending the frequency have been very simple, and this is as per our database learning
Hmm.
is again, so based on their buying recency only. So we send
Hmm.
3 emails a week for the 0 to 30, the recent segment, and next 30 to 60 there's a 2 ka frequency in a week. Then there's
Hmm.
1 ka frequency in a week for आपका 60 to 90 वाला, and then 180 plus वाले जितने भी segments हैं, that is twice a month. So this is
Hmm.
something which we're following since 7 8 months now, and it
Hmm.
has like proven good, given good results to us. Now again,
So,
so now the second part, the 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 second part to the first question is that how do you keep on doing experiment, you're
hmm.
making sure you increase the engagement rate to increase the average of that particular cohort. So 0
Hmm.
to 30 का अगर मेरा 1.5 या 1.3 का uh, 1.3 का engagement rate है, I have to increase it to let's say 10x, sorry, increase it by 10% or 15%. That's it. Okay, coming
So,
to the second part of your question. Sorry, you're saying something?
no, 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 Vinit, go ahead.
Okay, so coming to the second part of your question, which was how do you basically merge this with the other CRM platforms? Was this the question? Hello.
Yeah, I'm listening, Vinit. Please go ahead.
So can you repeat that second question? I'm really sorry, I guess.
So the second question was around like how like the frequency of email is one thing, but you're also nudging them on other CRM channels like SMS, push notification, WhatsApp, etc. And you mentioned about how you actually connect them together. So the frequency of email as well as frequency along with the other channels is important, right?
Okay, sure. Okay, so I think this is something which we're doing with the flows only.
Hmm.
So every other promotional channel, which promotional let's say activity which we're doing on any of the channels in the CRM ecosystem, has one objective to bring. customer bring users to the website or the mobile application. That is when the behavior flows and the triggers will take it from there. So we have different dynamic triggers based on the website, which again reach back to my customer based on their certain actions on the website or the mobile application. And with the more let's say with the more uh, dynamic content which of the behavior which they have done on the website. Now once I'm doing that, just so if I'm, let's say, a customer is getting one email communication and one SMS communication and one push notification a day based once they go to the website, and let's say for example haven't added something to cart, or just let's say added something to the cart and have not buy it, right? So now this customer, let's assume that this customer A who goes to the website, sees multiple products, spend let's say 2 minutes on one particular product, and then drops out from there, right? Now my communication to that person on, let's say, SMS channel would be based on his last viewed product, correct, right? Or can be based on his product page जिस पे उसने ज़्यादा time invest करा है, correct? On email, my would be that, let's say someone has viewed a category, let's say a customer X has viewed a skincare category, spend more time on skincare category as compared to a hair care category or any other category, right? So I know that this guy has some problem related to his skin, and he came to the website to find a solution or a suited product for himself, right? uh, Now my communication would be around that category only. So these are dynamic emails triggers which I've set on the website, and we keep on doing more experiments on, let's say, website. So let's say the first three communication would be around skincare only, would be around the same category only. If that person is not responding to any of my communication which has gone to him on the same category or around the same product, then that means that he might not be interested in that category or on the same product. He might be checking the same. That is when we start sending him the start cross selling him other categories, other products. So
Yeah.
okay, so one of the experiments which we did was that we reached out to people who have bought our exfoliate is one of our highest selling products, right? So people who bought exfoliate uh, from us, we try reaching out to these people with XYZ, three different other products. And out of these three other products, two products were less frequently bought products. And what we've seen from that activity is that if you start merging, let's say, these smart triggers and these smart communications in your entire CRM ecosystem, it increases the buying frequency of that particular customer. It increases the basket size. So this is something and again, so this is the experiment which we didn't do it on a larger base because of some tech limitations which we had. Again, pulling out all these data, I can pull out on a category level and on the product level, but a lot of things which we did was manually, right? And then putting it up on a smart trigger campaign. Now
Yeah.
and this is something we did on a very smaller base of 40-50,000 people. We want to, in coming months, we want to have, so everything is getting on the tech side. We're building all of these new smart algorithms and everything, so that it is easy for us to have everything which are there in our head, have everything automated. Once that is there, we're going to have it done to the entire base.
So we are near close to this end of the session. So I will ask the audience to ask any questions to Vinith. And Vinith, from my side, it will be last question. So you talked about a lot of experiments that you have done and the results you got. What would be one or two experiments that you would recommend to other D2C brands to do on email so that their performance can improve?
I think you start using AMP emails, yeah, they are the best. Like you
Hmm.
can do a lot more than you're doing on a regular email platform. So we started using AMP emails with mail mode only, and we've
Hmm.
realized that the effectiveness which we've gone, which we currently get when I talk about, let's say, only revenue. I'm only talking
Hmm.
about revenue in the AMP emails, but there are a lot of factors. There's increase in engagement rate. There's increase in let's say people coming back and ordering from us because their first experience is seamless, right? They don't want to. So now there are, for example, okay, so for example, there are product refill campaigns. So I bought something, my product life cycle is, let's say, 35 days. I send an email, an AMP email with the product in it, his last bought product, let's say it's an exfoliate in our case. We send a communication having the exfoliate in the email. He can add to cart there in the email and buy it there only.
Hmm.
So it's a, let's say, a three-step process from the for the user, which is a seamless process, which saves time, which save efforts, and it also creates a brand image in front of the consumer's mind.
Hmm.
Let's say this is one example. The second example, and this is these all examples have come from our internal experiments only. These are not just theoretical things. Now these are tried and tested experiments.
Hmm.
uh, but the other could be to, okay, so one very interesting factor I want to share with you. So our dormant base, so we did an experiment with AMP emails for our dormant base,
Hmm.
and this was the this was the last product which these people bought. So we send out a communication with the last product which they bought, and with the amazing, let's say, with the amazing content below that, below that image of the last bought product, and then five or six products for upselling. These are best sellers, right?
Hmm.
And what we've seen from that, there was a, and this is 180 plus buyers, dormant buyers. And what we've seen from that email activity is that uh, on in that particular activity there was a 6 to 7% from the usual uplift in the revenue,
Hmm.
which was contributing to the entire month's revenue.
Hmm.
With 6-7% of the entire month's 6%, 6 to 7% of the entire month's revenue contribution was from the dormant users.
Hmm.
And this is something which we did with AMP, and we did this similar activity with on our different channels, SMS push and all that, with the same insight. So
Hmm.
with other channels, hota kya hai, you have to do a lot of manual things, right? You have to get the data downloaded, have the let's say formulas pushed in, then upload it to the system, back to the system, and then create different segmentation, custom segmentation, and then you have to send it to the base. With AMP email, it is very easy. I mean, it's been
Yeah.
easy for me, so I know it would be easy for other marketers as well. So
Hmm.
I think start using AMP emails is one, and second would be, and which is I strongly believe, is that uh, if you are warming up your IP, please, warming up your IP or warming up your domain, please
Hmm.
don't ever change your warm up plan. Create a warm-up plan beforehand, while taking in
Yeah.
account where you're going to reach in, let's say, three months, 4 months, and then do everything. So
Got it.
this thing is something just understand from the Gmail side. Gmail has to bifurcate you from other spammers, and
Hmm.
it can only do that with the sending practices, the
Recommended
sending
sending
practices.
practice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's very interesting actually, Vinit. Like one is the recommendation from Vinit is try AMP email and have a consistent warm up plan. And Vinit, I don't want to end this conversation because I have been getting a lot of learning myself, and we have seen like maximum participation so far in our in across our all group chat in this group chat.
Okay.
So, but we are
I mean,
near the
people who are watching this and they want to grow, have a good growth career. We are hiring. They can
okay.
they can come and join us.
Yeah, it is highly recommended to work with Vinith, who is so data driven and experimental in nature. So if anybody is looking for a new job, please reach out to Vinith. I will just take one question to end another question from the audience, Vinith. So Surya is asking, for D2C brands, returning customer rate is an important metric. What are the top automation nudges you use to work towards a better return rate?
Uh, I think okay. So behavioral triggers is very important. So we've been doing this a lot. And when I say behavioral triggers, I just don't mean कि उसने last product क्या देखा था या उस customer ने last product क्या खरीदा था. So, for example, a user comes to the website, they buy product X, and then they don't make a purchase. You send a communication with a product Y and with an amazing contextual content. They bought the product Y and also they purchased a product, let's say A. With their third purchase, they bought a product C and then D and then E, right? It is very important to understand that इस customer का actual में where they what is the problem statement and what is the so we call it we usually call it here in Bella Vita Organic we call it problem solution for a customer. Now, okay, for me to understand, so for me to tell this better in a way, let me tell you an example. So we've created a cohort where with people who have bought the frequency is 4 products and above, 4 orders and above. So now what we've seen is when we send them a communication based on their last product purchase versus when we send them a communication saying let's say their category has been hair care 5 times from their 7 purchases, for example, right? So if we talk about if we send a communication to them which is for their face having a compliment for the hair also, this is something which has worked for us. And again, so these things which these things currently we are doing manually. So everything we're doing manually, and parallelly we're working to create an automation where all of these information, all of this insights, all of this data is sitting in my database, and I can pull it out and create those behavioral triggers. Now, returning customer is very important, and that is where I think branding I can do. Any marketer can do an amazing branding with emails. So emails play a lot of. Okay, so understand from one point, a customer buys from me. If he's not making a second purchase, that doesn't mean he doesn't like the product. There can be n number of things. He might be busy. He might have used another product. Uh, he might not want to refill. He might be not in town. Let's say I'm talking about the product LTV, right? While getting a refill for his last purchase. So so the communications and the triggers has to be data driven, has to be contextual in a manner where which help these people or these customers to basically uh, engage with us again and again. So if I keep on sending these people ki bhai सेल चल रही है और आपका प्रोडक्ट रिफिल कराने का समय हो गया है, और लेट्स से एनी XYZ purchase related communication, that would not work. So I
Hmm.
think the entire solution to this problem, again, as we do it here, is that uh, tell users maximum about our brand also. So there are flows, we send them communication to the people on how to use your products, how what are the reviews from other products from our hair care categories, how let's say what are the multiple reviews that other people have shared while they were using our 𝐒𝐿ips, or they were using our exfoliate or our foot cream. So we keep on sending these people, and we have seen a good. So when we don't talk about, so there's a segment, okay, there's a cohort. When we don't talk about selling our product to that segment, na unka purchase rate बढ़ जाता है.
बिल्कुल.
So this is for that cohort only. It's a good 23% contribution to that cohort is there from my entire database. So this is the segment जिनसे मैं normal भी I send a communication to them saying कि hey, how are you? It's been long time you haven't come back. Come and check out the new website. This is what we've sent to some of the customers today, because we've launched, revamped the website, and we've seen a good conversion rate happening from that particular cohort as well. I think that
Yeah.
answers the
Yeah,
question, right?
yeah. So that is very actually insightful answer actually to vary the feedback with the nudges. Uh, so uh, that that brings to our the end of this session, Vinny. And thanks to you to share all these experiments and learning
Thank
with
you
our
so much.
audience.
Thank you
And
so much
thanks to
for
the
that.
audience for joining us today. And we will see you in our next growth chat.
Thanks, Anish.